Welcome to the Carousel of Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Allie Wagner. On last week's episode, I spoke with Boulder-based animal communicator Jolie Wingerson, who's communicated with animals on behalf of humans and vice versa for almost 25 years. She offered some powerful insights into our spiritual relationship with animals, and we learned what animals really want us to know. Plus, Jolie gave my two mutts their very own reading, and I told you a story about when my husband brought home a 7-week-old puppy without telling me. And it's a good thing we talked to Jolie when we did, because we used her advice on how to communicate with animals big time for this episode. As many of you know, Elephant was reported missing in the local Mountaineer newspaper. But we at the Carousel of Happiness need to set the record straight on a few things. It turns out the newspaper got some of the details wrong. On today's episode, you'll hear the true story of Elephant's disappearance and what exactly happened that night. Let us begin with today's story. It wasn't John Callahan who was the first to notice Elephant was missing last week. That's the first sign that the Mountaineer article was a hoax. John Callahan was not the first to notice because Rebecca noticed the elephant was missing the night before. You remember Rebecca, right? She paints the animals and operates the carousel and even works the front desk. You likely know her from the podcast episode I did with her about the AccuDetox clinics she hosts at the carousel. Episode 7. Go check it out. On Fridays between 12 and 1 and Mondays between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m., you can receive a special type of community-based acupuncture directly from Rebecca in the carousel that's proven to reduce stress, anxiety, depression, cravings, withdrawal symptoms, the whole 9 yards, and it is 100% free. So that Monday night, after everyone from AccuDetox had gone home, Rebecca was cleaning up her things, packing up her tea mugs and little pamphlets all by herself, getting ready to leave. Normally, she would have had Mark's help packing up, but Mark had to run back to their house because their dog Packer had accidentally locked Mina the cat in the bathroom, which normally wouldn't have been that big a deal. But Mina got her hands on someone's cell phone and had been blasting Steely Dan from behind the locked bathroom door for over an hour, which turns out was too much Steely Dan for Rebecca's teenage granddaughter. So Mark went home to do the dirty work, so to speak, and address the Steely granddaughter situation, all while Rebecca stayed at the carousel to clean up all by herself. Now, being alone at the carousel house is hands down one of the most special experiences I've had in all my life. The lights are dim, the animals are still, there's no band organ, there's no giggly kids, just stillness and quiet. And it's from this place of stillness, of quiet, that you can feel this hum of energy underneath. It's a buzzing, a tingling, a vibrating, something you sense is always just beneath the surface, but there's something about the quiet that allows you to sense it better somehow. It's sort of like what they say about the desert, I suppose. You look out on a desert landscape and there appears to be no life. But then you look closer or you squint your eyes in such a way when you adjust your filter differently. All of a sudden, a previously barren landscape brims with life. The moment you change your perception is the moment the world you perceive changes. And the carousel after hours is sort of like that. You take away some of the here and now sensations, and you can access the here and now and forever sensations. the ones meditators talk about or musicians sing about, those ephemeral sensations that suggest something beyond what we can hear and see in this present moment. I found these moments alone in the carousel. I often see flashes of light out of my peripheral vision, or I sometimes notice quick movements out of the corner of my eye, but when I turn to move my head to see what it was, I miss it. And I'm guessing that might have happened to Rebecca too, which is why she didn't immediately notice the elephant was missing. But then, all of a sudden, she saw movement out of the corner of her eye and then turned her head and elephant was gone. Vanished. Out of thin air, she was there and then she wasn't. And Rebecca didn't call the police chief. That's another error in the newspaper article, primarily because Ned doesn't have a police chief, or a police for that matter, but it's a long story. Rebecca first called Mark, who was still trying to eradicate all signs of classic rock from the bathroom, but was having no luck. It looked like Mina might be reeling in the years alone in the bathroom for quite some time. Somehow she had used the pads on her paws to unlock the phone and was now playing a yacht rock playlist. If you're not sure what yacht rock is, go ask your nephew at CU. You might be surprised. The two of you might actually have more in common now than you think. Rebecca hung up the phone. She knew that Mark could handle the yacht rock situation on his own. She called Scott next. He didn't pick up. And neither did Melody, our boss, or the board president, Charles Wood. No one was answering their phone. It looked like we'd need to get help from the animals on this one. Rebecca came out to the front desk, switched on the lights, and found me there, slouched over my laptop. I was trying to come up with an idea for the podcast the following day, totally at the last minute, of course, and she hadn't seen me there because the lights weren't on. You see, when I work alone at the carousel, I never turn on the lights, primarily because I always forget where the light switches are. And someone's going to come in eventually, and they seem to always know where the light switches are, so it's totally fine. I can wait. Which is what happened to me that night. I was hunched over my computer, typing in the dark, and Rebecca flipped on the lights and found me there like a troll. She tells me elephant is missing, and sure enough, we run in there and she's gone. Like, how do you misplace an elephant? That is a lot of matter, a lot of mass to displace. But she was indeed gone. And in her place were 3 separate pieces of origami. Little folded pieces of paper in 3 distinct shapes. A lion, a pig, and a dragon. The carousel house gasped in unison. All of the animals turned to the mayoral candidates, who stood next to each other with open mouths, shrugged their shoulders. Pig's tongue drooped even further down in her mouth. Why is everyone staring at us? Dragon wanted to know. He didn't do anything with the elephant. How do you explain the origami? Cat asked. Each of the notes is shaped like one of you. But until it's shaped like an elephant, I'm not sure exactly how this pertains. We're missing an elephant, Dragon said again. Rebecca opened the piece of origami paper shaped like pig. It read, God is really another artist. He invented the giraffe, the elephant, and the cat. He has no real style. He just goes on trying other things. Pablo Picasso. I love this quote, said the pig. Don't you? And I love elephant's style. That basket she wears, you know, it's upcycled. Used to be a coffee table. Apparently, Scott bought it on Etsy. Mayor Giraffe was distracted. He was actually, quite frankly, slightly annoyed. What did this Pablo person mean by that statement? No real style? Giraffe was pretty sure this guy did not know anything about art. Who names their kid Pablo Picasso anyway? It didn't even sound like the name of a real artist, not like Salvador Dali does. Mayor Giraffe. He likes Dali's clocks very much. I'm not confident this Picasso person knows anything about art, Giraffe said quickly. Let's move on. Pig, why did you give Elephant this piece of origami? Well, I love the quote, said Pig. Did you know that basket on Elephant's? Yes, Scott got it on Etsy. We know. You don't have to be like that, said Pig. I gave Elephant the note because I wanted her vote. Who doesn't love getting a note in this day and age? It reminds me of being a teenager. The animals agreed. It was indeed fun to get a note. And in this day and age, no less. And that's what's cool about Elephant and Mayor Giraffe and the cat. They don't look like they should exist, but they do. That's what Pablo... Hey, Mayor Giraffe interrupted. Relax. I'm being nice, said the pig. The point is, whoever made us is pretty powerful and has very diverse and eclectic tastes, which I like. And I wanted Elephant to remember that. You know, I'm not really sure why I was put in this group, said the cat. I look perfectly normal. Rebecca scratched the cat behind her ear and thought of poor Mark, who was likely still listening to Ambrosia with a cat trapped in the bathroom. What about the other 2 notes? Rebecca asked. Giraffe tried to open the lion-shaped note, but his hooves weren't cooperating. He handed the note to Dolphin, who had no luck with her flippers. Finally, with a big sigh, Gorilla opened the note. Show off, the rooster clucked. Gorilla read the note from inside the lion. It was a line of poetry from John Donne. Nature's great masterpiece, an elephant, the only harmless great thing. The animals nodded. It was true. Elephant is great. But where is she? The sun was sinking low. It was starting to get chilly. Some of the animals were getting a bit fussy. It was dinner time. Cat remembered something about elephants. Apparently, they have around 150,000 muscles in their trunk, making elephant trunks the most sensitive organ found in any mammal. They use them for everything, breathing, eating, grabbing food. They use their trunks to say hello and greet other elephants, and they use it even as a snorkel when they swim. Their trunks can carry up to 8 liters of water, which is more than your average camelback. Speak for yourself, said the camel. And elephants communicate in a variety of different ways. They use those trumpet calls, of course, the cat continues, but also they use body language and touch and scent, just like many of us. But elephants also communicate through seismic signals or sounds that create vibrations in the ground. They can literally detect those vibrations in their bones. It's like their bodies are these massive vibrational tuning forks. And they grieve, said the cat. They bury their loved ones. They stand watch over their bodies, just like humans do. And they cry. Hold vigils, which would have been helpful information if anybody had been able to use it at the time. Thank you, Cat, said Mayor Giraffe. What about the last note? Cat asked. It was shaped like a dragon. Cat swatted at it, but couldn't get it open. The heron and the ostrich pecked at it, making holes in the piece of paper, but still not opening it. The gorilla sighed, swatted away the birds, and opened up the note. It read, "Love has the power to pull an elephant through a keyhole." I liked it, and I thought she might like it too, Dragon said. I found it in one of my books of sayings. You know how Pat has her books of sayings? I have mine too. They help ground me. The animals nodded. They all really did enjoy Dragon's books of sayings. Wait a minute, said Mayor Giraffe, pointing outside the glass doors. The animals turned and looked. Just outside the glass doors, next to the somewhere else wall, stood Elephant, her head bowed and her trunk resting on a furry little lump. What's that? asked Cat. It looks like a stuffed animal, said Pig, squinting her eyes. It is a stuffed elephant. It looks like one of the puppets from the upstairs puppet theater, said Mayor Giraffe. The animals rushed out into the garden. Elephant was indeed bowing in front of an elephant puppet, just like she would have in the wild. Should we tell her? Asked Gorilla. Tell me what? Elephant asked. You're not mourning a real elephant. She is most certainly a real elephant. Harper and her friend Eli were in earlier and they were playing with her upstairs in the puppet theater all afternoon. You heard them. They were having a blast. So, you know this is a puppet? Mayor Giraffe asked. Yes, of course. I thought that was pretty obvious. The animals were confused. Why are you mourning a stuffed elephant? Mayor Giraffe asked. Well, she and Harper just met. They had a lovely day together, and now Harper's all alone until she can convince her parents to drive back to the carousel where she is absolutely certain she left the puppet. She can totally promise them, Elephant explained. Grief isn't solely about life or death. It's mostly about companionship, loss of presence. In fact, Barbara J. King says that when two or more animals have shared a life, quote, grief results from love lost. The animals bowed their heads for a moment. I am going to stand watch over Harper's friend until tomorrow morning. I promise to be back in the carousel house before anyone notices I'm gone. I promise, Elephant said. Mayor Giraffe agreed. As the animals were filing back into the carousel house, Pig turned around and asked Elephant, So, you got our notes. Which one of us are you going to vote for? All of you, Elephant said. I love you all. Why wouldn't I vote for you all? Was it because of our carefully written notes, our clever turns of phrase? Dragon asked. Pig shook her head. It's not because of what you said or what you did. It's because of who you are. I love you because of who you are. I can just feel it. Pig, Dragon, and Lion looked at their friend in the dimming light. A beautiful being standing over a stuffed elephant in the courtyard, planning to sit watch all night until Harper's mom's Subaru pulls into the parking lot on the way to school tomorrow morning. And when it does pull up, Elephant will sneak away, opening the back door as quietly as she can, tiptoeing back into the carousel. She's almost there, just a couple of steps to go, but off in the distance, she hears something. Faintly. Over the hiss of the espresso machines next door at the train cars or the sound of yoga mats slapping against the wood floor at Tadasana, she can hear something. And the sound makes Elephant put her trunk down to the ground, listening. Noticing the hum of energy that vibrates beneath. something sounds oddly familiar, like a melody she's heard many times before. What is it? She asks herself, pausing for a moment. But the moment is just a moment too long. John Callahan flips on the lights and he notices the elephant is missing. Where did she go? Then he sees something out of the corner of his eye. It's Elephant. She's not in her place on the carousel, but she's got her trunk to the ground as if she's listening to something. He looks at her. She looks at him and asks, "Is that Steely Dan I hear?" Don't forget, dear listener, this election is different. You can vote for all of your candidates as many times as you want. Come on into the carousel or check us out online. All of your votes for mayor are 100% tax deductible and allow us to keep spinning you round and round year after year here at the Carousel of Happiness. Right now, Lion remains in the lead, but Dragon has come back from behind to tie Pig for second. That's right, we've got a real talon biter on our hands, but there is still plenty of time left in this election season. All votes will be counted until May 26th. And maybe this week, go write someone a note, will ya? Because it is so much fun to get notes. In the meantime, take care, be well, and as we like to say at the Carousel of Happiness, don't delay joy. And we'll see you next time around.
Beginnings and endings are only pretendings. I'll see you next time around. I'll see you next